So I'll just do a quick walkabout for the Aubiose for Saturday. Hopefully the light will be okay. It's a bit dark and dingy where it's snowing outside. So there's a wet patch I've uncovered here, which I'm just going to scrape the top off because it doesn't actually need much more than that. And then over here we've got another wet patch coming through, which again I'm just going to scrape the top off before I put the bed back down. I'm not going to dig in because it's not that wet. I'm literally just going to take the top off and leave the bottom. So if I can pan in, so here you can see, bear with me, I'll pan in. So here you can see the pellets still haven't really activated and done their job underneath the Aubiose, which is a shame, because obviously I was hoping that would collect up the wet. So I'm not digging this patch out to put another bag of pellets down. I've done that experiment, so I'll leave that now. So as you can see, the Aubiose has darkened slightly, as you would expect, but nowhere as bad as the darkness of the wood pellets looking quite mucky. But I'm used to that brand of wood pellet looking quite dark, so it doesn't really bother me. But as you can see, the Aubiose has started to darken slightly as it becomes used, but it's still perfectly dry, still a lot there on the banks, still a lot on the floor. And to be perfectly honest, don't really need to put another bale in this week. I may put one bale in tomorrow, as I don't have much time during the week to you know, fiddle around, so I might decide to put one in tomorrow. But at the moment, if we go for no bale this week at all, which is great, what I have got is a slightly fuller wheelbarrow. That is just this bed today. What I found is where he's trampled all his poo in, it's mixed up with the bedding, so I haven't been able to separate it like you can do with the wood pellets. So I have taken a lot more out than I have been during the week, but at the same time the upper layer of the bed was nice and clean. His rugs were cleaner and he's cleaner, so I don't mind taking out a little bit more of a bigger wheelbarrow at the weekend. And during the week I haven't really been taking much more than a quarter of a barrow out. So that's Saturday. Hi, so we're at the end of our second week, and I've decided to give up on the wood pellets. I've taken another bucket full of wet out this morning, nowhere near as much as I took out Thursday. Obviously Thursday I took a whole wheelbarrow out, and yes, he is a wet yucky horse, but it was already coming through to the surface, and it's only Saturday. So I don't really want him walking around on wet bedding all night when they're still in for a reasonable length of time. They're out for a good hour longer than they were now, so they're slightly cleaner than they were last week, but they're still in for a fair amount of time in the evening. So I moved the wet one onto Easibed. I have to say, the stable is smelling absolutely gorgeous. The smell just reminds you of a lovely fresh forest, walking through, you know, merrily running along in a nice fresh forest in the fresh open air. So hopefully this will help his breathing as well. So he's got 2 new bales of Easibed in here. on top of a thin layer of old pellet, and the banks are still pellet, because I wanted to put the bales down on the floor rather than on the banks. I could have put an extra bale on the banks, but I didn't really think it was necessary. And during the week I'll mix the two in together and then see how we go, see if we need to put any more Easibed down to set the bed up. But at the moment I've just set the bed up with 2 bales of Easibed, with the wood pellet, a small thin layer underneath just to soak up some of the wet, and the rest of the wood pellet on the side. So we'll see how that compares to the Easibed next door, sorry, the Aubiose bed next door. And the good thing about the Easibed, like the Aubiose, is you can take the tops off the bags and the bedding will come out. So it's not packed too tight that you have to completely split the whole bag open. And as I've said before, we're quite big into wanting to recycle here, so we like the fact that they're nice thick bags we can use for either the rubbish, recycling the chicken hay, or just generally using them about the yard, or even taking them home to recycle the garden waste. And the bonus of the Easibed is they've started doing there we are, green tokens. So go onto their website for all the promotional details. So the more you spend on your bedding, the more tokens you collect, and the more goodies you can get at the end. I think someone approves, or maybe not.